Hello, Miss Steele here. So this week we're talking about contrast, and we're going to make our own contrasting colors color wheel. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pull out our primary and our secondary colors. That is incorrect. We want orange. So a contrasting color is a color that is across from another color on the color wheel. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you. Blue, yellow, and red are our primary colors. We mix them together to make every other color. That's what makes them so important. Our secondary colors are the colors that come second after we mix our primary colors together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the right spot. So I know red and blue mix to make purple. I know red and yellow mix to make orange. And then lastly, yellow and blue mix to make green. So contrasting colors are the colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. So that's purple and yellow, green and red, and then blue and orange. So we're going to use this as a base for what we're making today. For this project, you want something to color in with, being markers and colored pencils for me today. You want 2 pieces of white paper. One's going to be for our color wheel, the other one's going to be for our details. You want some sort of circle you can trace to make our color wheel. I have a piece of cardboard. And then you want scissors, glue, pencil, and eraser. I'm going to move most of this stuff out of the way, but I'm going to keep out these markers. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to trace around my circle. You could use a plate, a bowl could work, like that. And now what I want to do is I want to draw a straight line going through it the best I can. And then I'm going to draw an X going through it. So what I did was I drew a straight line and then I drew an X because I want 6 different slices. What I'm going to do is pretty similar to what I did on this one, and I'm going to color in this color wheel like normal. So the first thing I would do is add in my primary colors, leaving a space in between them so I can fill that in with my secondary colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a primary color, leave a space, and then put in my next primary color, being yellow, red, and blue. So I'm going to get those colored in, and then we'll move on to our next spot. I also know I'm going to be cutting this out. So if I get outside of the lines a little bit, that is okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get my primary colors in here, and then we'll move on to our next step. Now that my color wheel looks kind of like a beach ball, I can work on getting my secondary colors in. And where I put my secondary colors matter, because I want to think of what goes in between yellow and red is what it mixes to make. So orange is what yellow and red mix to make. So I'm going to put orange in between them. Purple is what red and blue mix to make. So I'm going to put purple right here. And then I'm going to put green in between yellow and blue because that is what that mixes to make. So you want to be mindful about where you're placing your colors because you want them to be in the correct spot. You want your secondary colors to be in between the 2 primary colors it mixes to make. I'm going to get these colored in, and then we'll move on to our next step. So I'm going to cut this out, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my white paper, my second white paper that I have, and I want to draw something using each of these colors. So I could draw the same thing like a heart and color it in with my primaries, secondaries, or a popsicle shape. But I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to think of a fruit that is each of these colors. So I have out my colors, and I also have my colored pencils to help me add some details. And the first one I'm going to start out with is orange, and I'm going to make an orange. That's what I think of whenever I think of the orange. I think of the color orange, and then I can go back with my colored pencils and add in some details if I want to. So what you want to do on your next white paper is you want to make something that is each of the colors that you used on your color wheel. So like I said, you could just do a bunch of hearts and color them in, or I've had students do just circles or squares or triangles. But I'm going to add a little bit of spice to it. For my purple, I'm going to do grapes. I'm going to make some grapes on here. And then for my next one, I'm going to get this grape all colored in, and then we'll move on to our next one. So I have my grapes. For my last color, I want to use my green, and I'm going to do a pear for green, like that. Add a stem on, and now I have my primary colors. And what I'm going to do is for red, I'm going to draw an apple. Like that. Add a stem because it needs one. For yellow, I gotta do a banana. Mainly because that's the only yellow fruit I can think of. I guess there's yellow dragon fruit and a few others. So I have my banana. And then for my last one, for blue, I'm going to do a bunch of little blueberries. So what I need to do now is I need to go through and get these cut out. So once you have all the different pieces that you need, being your different items and your colors, you want to cut these out, and we're going to glue them onto our project. So I'm going to get these cut out, and then we'll move on to our next step. Alright, so I have all my stuff cut out, and I want to start gluing it down, but where I glue these down matter. I want to glue these on the contrasting colors, which is the color that is across from its other color on the color wheel. I'm waiting for my glue to start to come out. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm starting with my red apple. So if I'm looking at red, across from red is green. So knowing that red and green are complementary colors, I'm going to grab my green pear and I'm going to put that on the red area. Got a little bit of loose glue. The next I can look at is purple, and across from purple is yellow. So I know that my grapes go on the yellow side because that is purple's complementary color. So it's contrasting color. It's across from itself on the color wheel, and because of that it complements it, but it also contrasts it. So it helps each of the colors stand out. So when you're using complementary, also known as contrasting colors, those colors like blue and orange look really good together because they're across from each other on the color wheel, so they really help each other stand out. So I know my blueberries go here, and then my last would be my orange. So you can do fruits like me if you want. If you just want to do something a little more simple, or you can do bugs, that's kind of up to you. What you want to do is you want to make a color wheel, and then using those color wheel colors, you want to color in some things. So you can have your contrasting color wheel like what you see right here. I can't wait to see how yours come out, and I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful rest of your morning or evening or afternoon whenever you're watching this. Bye!